Bela Gandhi is the founder of the Smart Dating Academy, the nation's top-ranked date coaching service with clients across the country. They help singles to date smart and find love quickly. Bela is a weekly media correspondent who appears on shows like Good Morning America, The Today Show, ABC, NBC, Fox, The Kelly Clarkson Show, WGN. She's been in Essence, Glamour, Jet, Men's Health, and more. Smart Dating Academy helps busy, successful professionals jumpstart their dating lives successfully. And today, Bela is here to talk to us about dating after divorce and doing it successfully. Welcome, Bela.
Hi, Tracy. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Well, I'm honored to have you because you are the guru when it comes to dating. And especially, I think it's difficult to think about dating after divorce. You know, women who are going through this divorce process, they can't even imagine dating again, much less doing it successfully. But the fact is that most divorced women really will date again, and many of them will be married again. I know that the statistics for second and third marriages as it relates to divorce, though, are kind of grim, aren't they?
They are. So for those of you who might not be well versed in this, I wasn't either, clearly, before I started Smart Dating Academy. So 40 to 50% of first marriages end in divorce, right? And as if that's not bad enough, when we try it again and we try to get remarried, 67% of second marriages end in divorce and 74%, Tracy, of third marriages end in divorce. So I'm not saying this to scare anybody away. I'm saying know the data, know the facts. If you know how Tracy thinks. I'm a former finance person turned dating coach, so I like data as well. So know that there is a really good way to put yourself out there. There is a right process and you don't have to do it alone. That's literally why I started this company 15 years ago, is because I saw people needed what I was preaching to my friends, and I had helped them all get into happy, healthy marriages. So yeah, there's a lot of great things to be had when you find the lid to your pot, as you have.
Well, I don't want to dwell on the negative, but do you think, do you have any insights as to why these second and third marriages are failing? Is it that people's pickers are off? Are they rushing into the process because they don't want to be alone? Is there something else that you've seen?
Yeah, it's a great question. I say our pickers are broken, our people pickers, right? And why is that? It could be family of origin stuff. Or maybe you came from a really caring, lovely household, but somehow you just could never get it right? And then you think about Hollywood and social media feeds us a lot of lines as well. There's a 3-date rule. Rush into things. You'll just know when you meet the right person. You've got to have chemistry. All of these things that couldn't be more patently false. So if this sounds like you and your picker is broken, it's not your fault. And there are remedies for this. But that is why we end up doing the same thing all over again, because human beings are creatures of habit. We tend to seek out, Tracy, what feels comfortable for us versus what we intellectually know is right. People come to me like, listen, I was married to a narcissist. I've done Eat, Pray, Love, and I could write a book on narcissism, and I know exactly what one is. And guess what happens to that person? They get back out there and they'll say, geez, I married a second narcissist and he was worse than the first, right? Because our nervous systems are acclimated to a certain level of dysfunction.
Okay, so I am going to get us to the point of how do we get some help with this so we don't pick incorrectly again. But I want to back it up just a little bit, because if I'm a woman going through divorce, how am I going to know when I'm really ready to date again?
When you've done your work, right? And when you feel like, look, it's probably a pipe dream to think that you're going to be, kumbaya with your ex and there won't be anger and there won't be resentment. But when you feel like your picker is fixed and you know what you're looking for, and the thought of dating, and more importantly, finding the lid to your pot, that's what I call your significant other, sounds like, oh, that would be amazing. Then you're ready to think about dating. I'm not saying you're ready to date. I'm saying you're ready to think about dating.
But what if I'm lonely and just seeking some companionship? My kids go to their dad for the weekend and I've got nothing to do and I'd really just like to go on a couple dates and I'm not ready to be serious with anyone, but I got to have something to do. What do you say?
You can do that, but I would say a bad date is probably worse than being alone. So you definitely want to have a process to do this, right? And if you're lonely, build a village of people around you. Invest in yourself. Invest in the people in your life that I call elevator people that elevate you, and build that community and focus on all the love that you already have in your life, right? And be proactive. Start making plans with people. Then, if you want to date to find companionship, that's great. Now, what I would tell you is human beings are wired to find one person. So if you have a bad picker and you're lonely, that's a recipe for rushing in to a relationship that doesn't exactly serve you, because if you go out, want to sow your wild oats, do an equipment check, make sure the girls are all working, when you have sex with somebody prematurely, right, before you really know this person, before they've earned you, you emit during orgasm what's called oxytocin, which is the attachment hormone. And women, that is our superpower, oxytocin, right? And suddenly we've chosen to give that power to someone who hasn't earned it yet. So this is where I'm saying measure twice, cut once. Be really careful about, am I truly ready to date? Because what you think might just be a casual few dates can end up in the sack and then end up flat on your back 6 weeks, 6 months, or 3 years later, going, how did I get here again?
All right. So I know you like to talk about having a dating plan, and it seems to me that that's kind of where the conversation is going, that if you think you're ready to date, you really got to have a plan, because there's a lot of traps that you can fall into, right?
Absolutely. So like anything big in your life that you're going to do, you need to have a plan to do this, right? And so a good dating plan, Tracy, involves the 3 major pipelines of meeting people, okay? That's how I've boiled it down. There's 3 ways. You can meet somebody on dating apps or dating sites using technology. That's one pipeline. The second pipeline is meeting people in real life, at parties, at barbecues, going to fundraisers, yada, yada, yada. IRL, in real life, out in the wild, as my kids call it. Or the third pipeline is getting set up or fixed up by people in your network. Those are the 3 ways that people meet people. And so how are you going to start to leverage each of those pipelines into good, high quality dates? And you're not going to accidentally find yourself in that. You've got to sit down and put together a plan. This is what we do with our clients.
Okay, so tell me how someone would create this dating plan with you or for themselves.
Right. So if they're at, for example, clients at Smart Dating Academy typically work with us for 6 months to a year, and we get to know your background, all about your picker. And most importantly, we have very special methods for determining who your high GPQ person is, your person who's high in good partner qualities for you. And then once we know that, who you're looking for, we teach you about red flags, the pace of dating, and then put together a plan. At Smart Dating Academy, we have a photo studio in Chicago, which we have international customers that come into the studio. So we take care of all of the frictional points that most people have. I wrote a book during COVID that if you fill out the workbook, it produces the perfect online profile. And so that's how you start to make a plan. And that's all the pre-work. That's even before you're on the dating apps and sites, getting yourself out there, so that you've done the work on yourself. You've done your cyber marketing in the right way. You know what to post on the sites. And that's how you start to have a plan.
Well, I know that there are people listening who are saying, oh my gosh, that sounds like so much work. But I'll tell you what, how much work is it to have a really bad relationship? That's a lot of work. I'd rather do some pre-work, some fun pre-work, getting myself ready to date, figuring out where I'm going to meet these people, who's going to help me meet them, etc.
Yes, it's like saying you want to learn how to play golf. Are you going to go out and play 18 holes with a bunch of people that know how to play? No, you're like, I better get myself into a lesson and learn how to swing and what the different tools are when I deploy those tools so that I can play with people, right? And dating is the same way. Unfortunately, society stigmatizes getting help around dating, and it's the best investment you can make in yourself. We've had 0 divorces in 15 years. So
What?
I know, bananas. Uh, it's so true. And so this is, if you do things in a measured way with the right mindset, with the right guides along the journey, and stick to a process, you won't go wrong.
Okay, you talked about 3 ways to meet people and date people, and one of them was online dating with the apps. And I think that what I see in a lot of the divorce support groups online that I am a member of is that people are really leaning heavily on the apps. And I have a love-hate relationship with them. I think that they're wonderful because they expose you to people you might never otherwise meet in your daily life, right? On the other hand, there are some weirdos out there. There's catfishing, there's ghosting, and all those other games that people play that I think are easier to play with the apps. So, what do you have to say about online dating? Should we really lean into that? How can we be successful with it?
Lean into it, Tracy, with the right mindset. Online dating is the world's largest cocktail party, and that's a party that you're going to want to be at. Now, just like the world's largest cocktail party, do you think everybody's going to be your people? Hell to the no, right? 99% of people are not right for you. So you have to look at it with those lenses. We sometimes look at online dating with the mentality that we're online shopping in a store that caters exactly to us. That's not the case. Okay, it's like human eBay. That's what it feels like. But you have to know it's going to feel like needle in a haystack, right? But when you know how to do this, you know you've put your best foot forward on the site with the best photos, the best text. You know how to navigate things. You know how to look for red flags of catfishers, of frauds. You know how to deal with people that ghost you or do any of these sinister things, and how to handle people where you may not feel a connection, and what's the humane way of letting people down. So again, there is a right way to do all of this on the app. So I would give the apps a resounding abso-freaking-lutely. You want to be on the apps, but you want to get training wheels on you before you do it, because if not, it's going to feel like somebody took you at midnight off of your couch and plunked you into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean at midnight with no life vest on. That's not how anybody wants to feel.
Well, one of my girlfriends who's using the online dating sites, the apps, has gone into it with the mentality of, I'm going on a whole bunch of practice dates, and they're probably maybe all going to be terrible. But the worst thing that happens is I have fun stories to tell my friends and family about what weird guys I met or things like that. She's got I think, the right attitude. Like, she's going in hoping she meets someone nice, and who knows, but she's like, and at the end of the day, if I don't meet anyone nice, that's okay. I've got some good stories to tell.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I love the fact that she's positive and that she has good resiliency built around the process. One thing I could add to that is if you go into the date saying, I'm going to meet fun, smart people, you have a different lens with which you view the apps. You're starting to look for fun, smart people. So what that does, when you change your mindset and who you're focusing on, you start to meet fun, smart people. And then you actually have good dates and make good connections versus just having, bad brunch stories to tell your girlfriends.
I love that. Okay, so if you want to get serious and really do dating right, I already know that a dating coach is invaluable, and you've been doing it for a really long time. So tell us how that works and how a dating coach really helps someone to hone in on what they're looking for and what would be right for them.
I think like anything in coaching, it's unregulated. So make sure that when you're looking around for coaches, anybody, Tracy, you could be a dating coach at the end of this call, right? And so I think look for someone the way you would hire, for example, a personal trainer. Does this person look like #goals to you? Are they walking their walk? Are they fitter than you? Because if you don't look at people in that way at Smart Dating Academy, Every coach that works with me, including myself, we're happily married. We are walking our walk. So think about that. A lot of people don't think about that when they're looking for coaches. Do they have the goals? Do they have the thing that you're trying to attain? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then find someone who will really understand and help you work through your prior history, not like a therapist would do, but really help you to identify these are the pitfalls you might be prone to on your own. Like with my clients, I'm like, once I'm going to go through your background with our process, I'm going to know where all the grenades are hidden. And so we're going to guide you around the grenades and up Love Mountain without getting anything, blown off. So you want someone that can really help you with the advice in the day-to-day moment with messaging, looking in your inbox. We are in the weeds with people. I set you up on the apps. I'm in the apps with you, looking at people, helping you filter people, going, oh, that's a catfish, delete. So someone that's really going to be soup to nuts.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you actually help people find dates to go on?
Better than that, we're looking at every individual profile that comes in there and saying yes, no. Now, let's take it from messaging to a phone call, from phone call to a pre-qualifying video date. Before you waste your time meeting somebody in real life, right? You want to go through some pre-qualifying steps because my job as a dating coach, I have a lot of jobs with being your dating coach, but it's also to protect your time and energy because the better you feel about the process, the better you'll date.
So I think some people might be wondering, is this like a matchmaking service?
It's more comprehensive than matchmaking. Matchmakers, the incentives aren't aligned with the clients most of the time, unfortunately, because a matchmaker wants to give you a match and then have you shut down your account, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not there to help figure out, is this person actually good for you? Date over date, week over week, month after month. That's where ultimately what we're doing is way more comprehensive than that. I always say I'm going to help you create a dating funnel. We're going to help fill that funnel and we're going to help you vet every person, whether they come from online dating or you meet somebody through Tracy because she fixed you up with somebody, or if you sit next to a great person on an airplane ride. Vetting this person for alignment with your values, alignment with who you are, and a person that's going to make you happy. And with our clients, nobody gets exclusive until 15 to 20 dates, right? So we have a whole process. Then when you find someone who looks like they could be your boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever you want to call it, then we go into phase 2, which is where we make sure that the relationship is in alignment.
I love that 15 to 20 date rule. And I bet there are some clients who think, gosh, that's so slow and we have so much in common and we like the same things. But I love your focus on, do you have values that align? Because I think that's where people get derailed sometimes.
They do, again, because our old patterns come back up. The old gremlins come back up and we forget about all of our values and we forget about the things that are important to us because our brains are overloaded with chemistry. Remember, lust is nature's way of tricking you into attachment.
Wow.
Be very careful.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a few minutes. I want to ask you, how can someone identify some red flags when they're dating?
Wow. Well, first of all, trust your gut.
Mm-hmm.
Your gut is usually on. So if somebody sounds like they're playing the victim, everything was their ex's fault, everything is their boss's fault, their friends have ditched them, right? When someone gives you this woe is me, world's smallest violin story, that's a red flag to me. I want you to be with someone who could earn someone awesome like you, dear listener, someone who's positive and fun and ready to date. And anybody who is negative about themselves, negative about the people around them, maybe they're unkind to the barista or, the homeless person on the corner. If you're taking a walk around the neighborhood, just watch what this person's character says to you. But these are all things when I ask my clients, Tracy, when they're telling me about bad relationships that they had been in, maybe what their ex and they're now divorced. And I ask them a question, when did you first notice the red flags? Every single one of them says, you know what? They were there in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I just chose to sweep them under the rug.
Oh, we tell ourselves stories. Oh, he's just nervous. Oh, he was looking for something to talk about. We have all sorts of stories we can tell ourselves about those red flags, right?
Yes, 100%. And we justify them. Now, remember, if somebody's throwing down red flags, but now your brain is flushing oxytocin, the attachment hormone, right? Do you think your brain's not going to allow you to even process those
Hmm.
red flags because the attachment hormones are raging inside of you? So your gut feels them, but you might be. Why do people say, I'm crazily in love? I fall in love. Love is blind. I'm telling you, chemistry and lust are nature's way of tricking us into attachment. You have to be very conscious and mindful of who gets your attachment. And that, my friends, I will tell you what, if you want to be empowered, you have power in your dating life. You have the steering wheel of your dating life. Nobody else does. I don't care if you're a man, you're a woman, women, just like you've taken the steering wheel and the control of your own life across the board, you are not sitting on the sidelines waiting for somebody to message you. Take the steering wheel of your own dating life. If it's a green flag, let him in. If it's a red flag, hasta la vista.
I love that. You have a free resource for our listeners called Make Your Dates Fun. Tell me a little bit about that.
It's a great checklist for you. Remember, everybody wants to have fun on dates. Guess what? To have fun, I'm going to teach you how to bring the fun and to be fun. And that's what this free gift will tell you. It's a checklist on how to make your dates fun. And it starts with you.
Well, we'll of course link to that in the show notes. And then as we are winding down, I just want you to tell us about your date coaching services if someone was interested, because I know you work with clients across the country. Actually, I think across the world, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. We do. We're all over Europe, North America. So the first thing you can do if you're looking for more free information, follow me at Smart Dating Academy on Instagram. I have a podcast called the Smart Dating Academy podcast with over 135 free episodes. You can bathe yourself in dating advice. If you like to watch, we have a YouTube channel where all the podcast episodes are loading up at Smart Dating Academy. If you're interested in exploring our one-on-one coaching service, you can email us at smartdatingacademy.com, fill out any contact form, and we will tell you where we are on our wait list.
I love that you have a wait list. I know that you have been so successful and so popular, and I am so thrilled that you took your time to be here with us today. Thank you again, Bela.
Thank you again for having me. I really had a good time.